What's up, Wing Wing Nation? This is Joe here. We are cooking up a national tour, but we need some info from you. So if you click the link below, there's a survey. We need to know which cities to go to. If you want us to go to your hometown, let us know in the survey below, and we will consider it. It takes like 30 seconds, and you get 10% off our online store if you complete it. And come see us live in person. We're gonna have car meets, we're gonna have contests, we're gonna have sim racing. It's gonna be so fun. So let us know where to go, get 10% off merch, and it's a win-win. And let's get into the show.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Past Gas, and this week we're talking Jacky Ickx. I spent half the episode pronouncing it Jacky Ickx and was corrected about halfway through, so just deal with that. But this guy, super legendary and accomplished racer. He won Le Mans 6 times.
He's got a couple different nicknames like the Rainmaster and Monsieur Le Mans, and just was an amazing advocate for driver safety.
He won Le Mans. I mean, you'll hear it in the intro right now. So how about we just do that right now? Right now! June 14th, 1969. The world's best racing drivers are lined up on the grid outside of their cars on the Sarthe circuit, ready to begin the notoriously intense 24 hours of Le Mans. The French flag is dropped, marking the beginning of the race, and the drivers sprint to their cars. But in this mad rush, one person stood out from the pack, an unassuming 24-year-old Belgian driver by the name of Jacky Ickx. Unlike the other drivers, many of which were accelerating away with doors half closed and harnesses unbuckled, Jacky casually strolled up to his Ford GT40 in an act of protest against what he considered to be an unacceptably dangerous tradition. A year earlier, driver Willy Mares was screaming down the Mulsanne Straight at nearly 200 miles per hour when his door flew open. Because of the traditional running start, Willy had jumped in his car and took off before the door latch was fully secured. Willy lost control and crashed at the end of the Mulsanne. He spent the next 2 weeks in a coma and never raced again. It wasn't long before tragedy struck again. Driver John Wolf tore away from the start of the 1969 Le Mans with an unsecured harness. As he came through Maison Blanche on his first lap, Wolf rolled his car, was ejected, and killed instantly. Jacky had taken his time making sure his door and harness were secure, and by the time he set off, he was in last place. But Jacky drove a hell of a race, and by the time the checkered flag was waved 24 hours later, he took first. It was Ickx's first victory in a very long and successful career at Le Mans, and he had proven you didn't need to be needlessly unsafe to do it. So what kicked off Jacky Ickx's incredible career? How did he conquer the world's most infamous race as a driver and team leader? And why did he almost leave racing to be a gardener? This week on Past Gas, the one and only Monsieur Le Mans, Jacky Ickx. Welcome back to Past Gas, everybody. My name is Nolan Sykes. I'm joined, as always, by Bart Bidlingmeyer.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Bart. And Joe Weber.
This story certainly doesn't give me the icks.
Nice, dude.
That's it.
We'll
That's
see
the
about
end.
that.
It's
We
not
haven't
gonna get any better than that.
I don't even know how to follow that up. I've been dumbfounded. Yeah, welcome back to the show, everyone. Jack, I'm surprised we haven't covered Jacky Ickx.
It's crazy it's been this long. We've talked about him in the Mazda 4-parter that Audrey wrote.
He likes to show up in our stories.
He likes to show up, usually advocating for driver safety, which is cool.
I can get behind.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, people only listen to that sort of stuff if you're really good, I think, which he was. So thank you, Jacky.
It is kind of crazy looking back at like these kind of older racing stories and being like, yeah, none of the drivers wanted to wear goggles because they thought it made them a wuss. Yeah. It's like, what? What are you talking about? Like famously, a lot of people didn't want to wear seatbelts because they thought being trapped in a burning vehicle would be the worst way to die.
Yeah.
But being thrown out of a vehicle and cracking your back, that's way better.
Yeah. Well, you know, all racing drivers are famously as agile as gymnasts. They're all natural born Simone Biles, and they would do like a triple gainer out of the car to safety.
This might be the first Belgian that we've done, right?
I think so.
we got some listener mail from a true Belgian himself.
Oh, all right.
Was very happy to hear us talk about the Volvo plant
Oh yeah.
in Ghent.
Was it Ghent? Yeah.
That
was
I
before
gotta
I did
get
my
out to
accent.
Ghent, dude. What?
It was before I did my accent.
Oh, yeah.
Get ready for another listener mail that's very angry.
Yeah.
Whenever I think of Belgium, I think of this dumb joke on the Drew Carey show where I don't know what the circumstance was. I think Mimi gave him some chocolates and she was like, oh, here's some Belgian chocolates. And he looks and he goes, these aren't Belgian chocolates. These are Beldan chocolates. It doesn't make sense at all.
That was the joke.
That was the joke.
Pretty good.
It's so dumb. I don't know why it stuck with me for 30 years.
We'll be right back after these messages. Big thanks to BRUNT Workwear for sponsoring this podcast. BRUNT didn't just make a durable work boot, they reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. For a limited time, our listeners get $10 off at BRUNT by using code GAS at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com/gas and use code GAS and you're all set. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and say we sent you there. Thanks, BRUNT. Thanks to Hims for sponsoring this podcast. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/gas. That's HIMS.com/gas for your personalized ED treatment options. hims.com/gas. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. Now back to the show.
Jacques Bernard Edmond Martin Henry Ickx.
Jacques Bernard Edmond Martin Henry Ickx.
Thanks. Was born on New Year's Day in Brussels, Belgium in 1945. His dad, Jacky Ickx Sr., was a journalist who lived and breathed motorsport. He had a blog. He created the magazine Le Moniteur Automobile, which helped popularize motorsport in Belgium and is still in print today. He was also known for writing a book called Free Men Are Free to Risk Their Lives in defense of the controversial sport during a time in which it was so dangerous that many people, including the Pope, were calling for it to be banned altogether.
Even Il Papa?
Il Papa. Jacky Sr. introduced his love of the sport to his son and took the young Jacky to his first Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps. However, much to Sr.'s dismay, Jacky Jr. showed no interest in racing. He was on his phone instead. In fact, Jacky was much more interested in gardening. This was a gut punch for his dad, who had no problem getting Jacky's older brother Pascal to love racing. Pascal was considerably older than Jacky and had minor success in many motorsport series before following in his father's footsteps and becoming a motorsport journalist. You guys
Why are they not called Mojos?
Mojos.
I love it.
I don't know.
What are
From now on,
I have a question for you guys.
starts here.
You
Yeah.
guys are
is
both-
it
starts with us.
are Mojos the best type of potato? Yes.
I was going to ask, you guys are both fathers.
Yeah.
Bart, your kids are a little older than Joe's baby. Like, are you trying to get them to be in the same things that you are? Or you just
Whatever they want.
Whatever they want.
Try it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think now I'm going to get Oliver back into doing some sport, but we did t-ball when he was 4 and we did basketball when he was maybe just 5. And I was like, we're going to skip this for another minute or two.
Yeah.
Because
the games
no one knew
are
what they
boring.
were doing.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't even that. It was just like, I don't think they're getting anything out of it. You know, they're just running around and it's get them, let him watch some. I think now that he's seen some sport on television, basketball, soccer, racing, all that stuff. Now it's kind of, I get what's happening a little bit more.
I think that helps a lot because I think what would have helped me maybe stick with baseball specifically for longer was like if my coaches had actually explained why we're doing the things we're doing instead of just the mechanics of like how to throw a ball or like the basic rules.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, now I'm a much bigger baseball fan and wish I had played it more as a kid.
Yeah.
Because if I had known why we were doing the
You came out to practice with us one time.
Yeah, it was fun. And then I like blew out my shoulder and like didn't come again.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. No, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've been thinking about it because I'm into a lot of stuff. I have a lot of hobbies and I'm not going to be like, you got to be into Warhammer, little guy. It's like, no.
Yeah.
But I do want to present to him,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like I'll probably take him to the skate park.
Would you be disappointed if he didn't like any of the stuff that you like, though?
No, because he'll whatever he's passionate about, I want to foster that. And I don't want to like be a sports dad at the end of the day. I don't want to be like a guy that's yelling at the umpire, gets kicked out because he's rowdy.
I think I will say, I think sports important for a number of reasons, but when I was working in other sectors and on teams and sometimes managing people, I could tell which manager had played what sport almost.
Really?
Yeah. Like the guys who had played high level baseball.
Yeah.
It's like, just do your job, right? Like, you know your role, do it.
Yeah.
I don't have to, I'm doing mine, you do yours.
Yeah.
People who have played more cooperative sports, basketball, soccer, etc., where there's more of a flow and certainly everybody's doing their job, but there's assists. There's, you know, you're helping each other out more. You're building, there was always a different team dynamic. And I could tell also even in the teams of who was going to just look out for themselves and who would do something else. So I do think it's important that not just so you know how to move your body and have that connection as a whole human being, but you also learn how to navigate
because
people in the world.
Navigate. You need to learn how to work as a team and like put your ego aside in some cases, like especially baseball. It's like you want to make the safe out. You don't want to like be the guy who's trying to throw it 350 feet.
Even baseball, it's like, all right, this is a sacrifice.
Yes, sac
I'm
fly.
gonna get this guy home.
Yeah. As well as like the politics of it too. Well, like you want to be a team player and you get rewarded for being chill and like easy to work with.
Well, Jacky Sr., we don't know if he was easy to work with, and we do know that Jacky Ickx Jr. was not into racing, but everything changed when Jacky's dad bought him a junior 50cc Zündapp motorcycle when he was 12 to, of all things, get him to try harder in school. Jacky hated school and, and put in very little effort, once saying, quote,
I learned just enough to go up into the next class each year. I was very lazy. That was my most obvious characteristic. The teachers said I was good for nothing and I wanted to leave as soon as possible.
How a motorcycle was supposed to make him like school is a mystery, but Jacky's parents were desperate to find anything to motivate him, and luckily, it did. Not long after receiving the bike, Jacky began competing in trials. His father had been a trials champion before World War II, and Pascal had just started in the series. Jacky was successful from the jump and won 8 out of 13 events in his very first year in the European Trials Championship. At 16, he won the Belgium 50cc motorcycle trials at the 1962 Medet Grand Prix. A year later, he defeated eventual world champion Roger de Coster at the 1963 Belgian 50cc Trials Championship.
So we were talking about this, I think, last week, where Americans have dirt racing, and a lot of people get into racing from dirt ovals.
Right. Dirt oval is the most like affordable way to get into oval racing, and like you can learn a lot of skills that transfer, and I'm assuming the same goes for trials racing.
I mean, a 50cc motorcycle is like $100 now.
Yeah, it's really small capacity. I'm not sure what the mid 60s trials scene looked like, because I know
it wasn't like obstacles where you're jumping from concrete block to,
because that's what the trials is now, where it's like, you're balancing on one wheel, hopping from like stump to stump, or like these giant concrete pylons.
Yeah.
Which is super impressive. But I think back then it was more of like, not a motocross course necessarily, but you had a course, and then there'd be like sections where you have to go over through a rock garden, or go over logs, or go through some mud or something like that.
Trials and tribulations.
Yeah, my dad's cousin owns a bunch of Greaves motorcycles, which were trials bikes back in the day. And they used to do this Greaves Day out in Pozo, where they would set up like a trials course. And I went out there a couple times as a kid. Really cool stuff. Really
on
heavy.
Your Zündapp?
Not on my Zündapp, but I mean, it's just crazy. These bikes are, again, from the 60s, so they're all steel. The suspension is extremely rudimentary. Heavy bikes, and you're still going over logs and stuff, and like racing people going through these big ass obstacles. So pretty cool.
But aren't these Grand Prix races that they're doing on the bike?
I don't think so. I think trials is what. So they're going to the countryside.
Oh, trials.
It eventually did turn into motocross because they would do point-to-point races across the countryside.
Yeah.
And like, that was sick. Can we just make a course out of this kind of racing where we're not going over logs all the time?
Yeah.
And
I hate logs.
That eventually is what became motocross.
Jacky was racking up title after title in Belgium, and the Zündapp supplier he was working with throughout his early racing career began to see the natural talent he possessed. The Zündapp guys were also BMW importers and offered Jacky a BMW 700S to race a hill climb at La Roche in Belgium, and to enter in other races wherever he wished for the next year. According to Jacky, Zündapp was very hands-off and told him, "We'll lend you a car for a year, but we don't want to see you at the factory. You do what you want, work for yourself, but we don't want to see a single bill."
Okay.
At the hill climb, Jacky secured the fastest lap in practice and had every reason to feel confident on the starting line. Unfortunately, between practice and the green flag, it started to rain. By the time Jacky set off, the track was soaked, and he only made it 3 turns before dipping into a corner too hard and flipping his car.
Dang.
The incident got a ton of airtime on television, which Jacky later explained was good publicity, saying, "It was lucky because that scene was shown on television a lot. I was already quite popular on motorcycles, and now I arrived like a bomb in cars because of the incredible publicity." Jacky entered more hill climbs with the BMW 700S to varying results. His first endurance race was at his home course at the 24 Hours of Spa, where he finished 14th. Pascal also raced at Spa, but in a different class, and had won with teammate Gerard Langlois von Opum.
These 700s are crazy looking.
Yeah.
That's like
it's a rear engine car.
Whoa. It's like not what I would expect a BMW to look like at all. It's like a little yeah.
Yeah, I think that
cartoon
was
car.
They were on the brink of bankruptcy when they had made that car. And then
Gotcha.
the 2002 is when they really started taking off in motorsport and doing better in the consumer side too. Pascal and Gerard won in a BMW 1800 Ti SA, completing 271 laps around the 14-kilometer course.
Wow.
Jacky soon moved from his Zündapp supplied BMW to Ford, where he was signed as a factory driver through Alan Mann Racing. The British racing outfit headed by Alan Mann had many successes throughout the 1960s.
You know, it's apropos that his name is Alan Mann, considering the team's name is Alan Mann Racing.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah. Good one. Yeah.
I'm glad you read these beforehand so you can think of these jokes when you're going to drop them.
I have a whole notebook full of zingers like that, dude.
While competing in the European Touring Car Championship at Coupe Benelux at Zandvoort, Jacky had his first standout performance in a race car. He took wins in 2 different classes, first in the 1600cc class in a Ford Cortina, and a second in the over 2000cc class in a Ford Mustang, which he also took the fastest lap of for the day in. By age 20, Jacky had an overall win.
Dang. Talented kid.
Yeah. During this time, Jacky was still racing motorcycles and would sometimes race a car and a bike on the same day in 2 different events at 2 different circuits.
Jeez.
That's great.
One time he pulled off a Belgian double by competing and winning in both the Belgian Touring Car Championship and the National Motorcycle Championship. That's nuts, dude.
Nuts.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Hey podcast listeners, this is Justin, and I'm so excited to tell you about our sponsor, Hankook Tire. The Dynapro SUV and light truck tires made by Hankook offer off-road traction in tough terrains without compromising on-road comfort. Developed to suit a wide range of vehicles with an aggressive design that offers both protection and good looks, Dynapro SUV and light truck tires can take you from point A to who knows where in comfort and style. But if you're more of a city slicker than an off-road enthusiast like me, Hankook also has a wide range of high-performance tires under the Ventus brand, optimized for pleasant high-speed driving and stability in handling. With Hankook's extensive product family, you're sure to find something to suit your needs. We're running Hankook Dynapro MT2s on our Baja Ranger, the Baja Blaster, and honestly, they've been really cool off-road in the desert. They handled a lot of the whoops really well and kept us in control of the car. So get your tire journey started at hankooktire.com and see just how far these wheels can take you. That's HANKOOK, hankooktire.com.
Thanks to Chime for sponsoring this podcast. When it comes to taking steps towards your financial future, every little tiny step helps. When you open a Chime checking account, you're one step closer to a better financial future. With no maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit, making progress has never been easier. And if you ever want access to your pay before payday, you can use MyPay to get up to $500 of your pay before payday with no mandatory fees or interest. Learn more at chime.com/gas. I was super broke for most of my life, and one of the things that really bugged me was when I overdrafted and they charged me for overdrafting. Why are you penalizing me for not having money? And how do you think I'm going to pay that off? A Chime checking account helps you make progress with fee-free overdraft up to $200. Make progress towards a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/gas. That's chime.com/gas. Chime feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank, N.A. or Stride Bank, N.A. Members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Fees applied out of network ATMs. MyPay eligibility requirements apply. Credit limits range $20 to $500. $2 fee applies to get funds instantly. Chime checking account required. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details. Now back to the show.
Jacky came back to the 24 Hours of Spa in 1966 with more experience under his belt and an unrelenting desire to take home the grand prize. Having watched his brother's overall win in the year prior, he knew it was possible. If that dumbass can do it, I can too. 24 hours later, Jacky crossed the finish line in his BMW 2000 Ti, having completed the most laps in his class. His insane talent caught the eye of Ken Terrell, who approached Jacky in 1964 with the intent to sign him to his Formula 3 team. But Jacky had other obligations. As was a requirement at the time, young Belgians had to enlist in the army and fulfill a stint of national service. The offer from Terrell came at a time when Jacky could no longer put his service off. The two came to an agreement. After Jacky served 15 months in the army, he would race a Matra for the Terrell team. During Jacky's time in the army, he learned to drive tanks and then taught others to drive them as well. He once even said he learned how to spin in a tank.
Tank drifting. I'd watch that sport.
Tank
Hell
drifting?
yeah. Drift over cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Tanks drifting at the port of Long Beach. Yeah. With his service fulfilled, Jacky was back in the driver's seat. He picked up where he left off. He took second at Zandvoort and Zolder raceways in his 1-liter Cosworth-powered Matra MS5. The German Grand Prix at the Nürburgring wouldn't be as fortuitous, unfortunately. During the first lap, he was taken out by John Taylor, who braked too late and mangled Jacky's car. Taylor was less fortunate. He was knocked unconscious, and his engine had caught fire.
I just saw an engine on fire today.
Oh, yeah, you did.
That's very apropos, because I just saw it today.
Yeah. Officials managed to pull Taylor out, but not before he had suffered serious burns. He was transported to a nearby hospital where he died shortly after. Shaken up by this fatal accident, Jacky took a year hiatus from racing. He returned in 1967 as a Formula 2 driver. At the German Grand Prix, he would have his breakout moment. Jacky took the third fastest qualifying time behind Denny Hume and Jim Clark, two well-established F1 drivers who were also in F1 cars. But because he was an F2 driver, Jacky was positioned behind all of the F1 drivers. And despite his starting position and inferior car, Jacky astonished onlookers as he battled his way through the pack, eventually overtaking all 12 F1 cars.
That's insane.
Although he'd be forced to retire from the race due to suspension issues, he had made a lasting impression. Years later, in an interview, Jacky said, quote,
I have always believed that the weekend was part of my destiny. The start of many things that came later.
It's not him anymore. That's
What?
a German.
I don't know.
He's in Germany.
Oh, so he's like a chameleon.
Yeah, he's a chameleon when it comes to.
They call me the linguistic chameleon. Yeah.
It really rolls off your tongue.
It really rubs people the wrong way. The next year, Jacky made his debut as a Formula 1 driver in the Italian Grand Prix at Monza in a Cooper T81B Maserati. Despite suffering a puncture on his last lap, he was still able to pull off a 6th place finish. He was forced to retire early during his second race, but scored his first podium in his third outing, taking P3 at his home Grand Prix in Belgium. After only a year in Formula 1, Jacky had proven he had what it took to be a top competitor. In 1968, at just 22 years old, Jacky got the opportunity every F1 driver dreams of, signing with Ferrari.
At 22.
Yeah, that's young as hell. I mean, Leclerc, he was 24 maybe when he signed with Ferrari.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
His first race with Ferrari would be a true test of talent and a showcase of skill he would be remembered for, driving in the rain. The race in question was the 1968 French Grand Prix at the Rouen-les-Essarts circuit, where it was plagued with heavy rain from the start. Thanks, Bart. The conditions were exceptionally dangerous, even taking the life of Joe Schlescher. Only Jacky looked comfortable and went on to take his first F1 win. The legendary drive by Jacky earned him the nickname, the Rainmaster. Jacky finished 4th overall in the driver standings in his first season with Ferrari. He probably would have placed higher, maybe as high as 1st, if he hadn't broken his leg during a practice session in Mexico. The injury took him out of contention later in the season and caused him to miss a crucial points opportunity at the U.S. Grand Prix at Watkins Glen. Jacky departed from Ferrari after a single season in red. He stated in an interview years later that he made the move because he felt like Ferrari had nothing more to offer him because he wanted to do a different type of racing. But Jacky didn't move on from F1 right away, and it wasn't long before John Wyer and Brabham convinced him to join their racing team. He didn't get off to a great start, but after an injury took out one of his teammates, Jacky's season took off. He attributed this success to the fact that he became the sole person his team focused on.
There's two ways to look at that. One is like, well, good for him and that his team could focus on him and make him a better driver. And the other way to look at it is like, well, you big baby, be a better driver.
Well,
you know,
I kind of agree with him because
it's the politics of racing teams, you know, where there's always that argument. And I guess he's like, yeah, I told you.
I don't.
You would just give me more attention. I can do better.
Like they're setting up cars to what the driver wants.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're focusing on like a number one driver, his setup might be like way different than Jacky's. And it might be to the detriment of Jacky's driving, where it's like, maybe, you know, it's not how he's used to it's being set up, but he doesn't have the political push in the team yet to like have them focus on his car more.
He eventually settled in and won both the German and Canadian Grand Prix later in the season. At the German Grand Prix, he took both pole and fastest lap, further adding to his young F1 racing resume. He became the main contender against the legendary Jacky Sr, who he often fought with wheel to wheel. He finished the 1969 season as runner-up just behind Stewart. Nice.
And they also got signed the same year too. I think when Tyrrell signed Jacky Ickx, they also signed Jacky Stewart to a higher class, like F2 or F1, same year.
See.
So he was always kind of like a little bit in a rivalry with Jacky Stewart.
Ooh.
Also because they had the same name.
Yeah.
In many of his interviews over the years, Jacky has said something to the effect of, I never dreamed of becoming a racing driver. In the beginning, I wanted to be a gardener.
This interview took place in America, which is why he sounded American.
Yeah. In another life, Jacky might have been entering his 25th year buying seeds and studying how different soils could interact with each other to produce the best tomatoes. But in this life, Jacky cemented his legacy as a racer at 25 years old at the 24 Hours of Le Mans and began an unprecedented run of success in the grueling endurance race that would define his career. Jacky's first Le Mans outing in 1969 featured an absolutely sensational battle with Porsche's premier driver, Hans Hermann. This particular race has gone down as one of the most, if not the most, exciting races in the history of the event. But for Jacky, the race began with an act of protest. A traditional part of this race at the time was the appropriately named Le Mans start. The drivers didn't actually start in their vehicles, but had to run across the track to their cars, shut the door, harness themselves in, start up, and take off. To gain an advantage on their competitors, many drivers would fasten their harnesses while driving, and many wouldn't even have fully closed the door while they were peeling away. Over the many years Le Mans had been run up to this point, this start had become controversial due to the many unnecessary injuries and completely avoidable fatalities due to safety checks being skipped over during the chaotic start.
This is like when your dad would get mad at you for leaving 5 minutes later than he wanted on the 9-hour drive to grandma's house.
That's like, we're gonna stop to pee and to eat lunch.
Let's go. Come on, it is 8:05. It's a 9-hour drive. You know, just get buckled.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine.
Like, who cares? Like, grandma kind of sucks anyway. Like,
you shut your mouth about your grandmother. She is a wonderful woman.
put your diaper on.
No one talks like that about my mom except for me.
That's where I learned it from, Dad.
Yeah.
I learned it from watching you.
Yeah.
Having seen firsthand the needless loss of life in motorsport, Jacky decided he would take a stand. In a defiant move, when the race began, he calmly walked to his car and properly strapped himself in before setting off.
I'm walking to my car.
It was voiced over. That was what they had on the newsreel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you
Walk
seen
confidently to his car. Into my car.
Hey,
Gonna buckle myself. Gonna cut the door.
when I was doing the driver's test, I immediately, he's like, all right, turn left here. And I turned right.
What? Why?
I was nervous.
That's hilarious.
Still passed.
I told someone this the other day because it's Dave Brown
Dave.
had to retake his eyesight test for his driver's license, and he was like, they were like, close your one eye, and he thought that one of his eyes was like the dominant one, and he closed it and realized he couldn't see anything, and somehow guessed every letter based on like the blurry shape of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I haven't told anyone this yet, but I know, like, I listened to them before, you're waiting in line, about to do your thing. And they always ask for the same line. And so I just memorized the line before I go up and take my eye test.
Can't see a damn thing.
No.
Seems irresponsible.
I know, right?
Big shout out to Dave. Check out the Brett DeMott show.
Yeah.
To hear Dave.
Buddy Fun Jr.
So funny,
Very
dude.
funny.
Great show.
This protest landed him at the back of the grid, but the careful start proved its point when John Wolfe crashed and died on the very first lap. The rest of the race was a nail-biter, with the last 4 hours crescendoing into an intensely close race. Jacky and his teammate Jackie Oliver, why is he always with another Jacky? Was it that popular of a name back in the day?
So, dude.
So Jacky,
it's just Jacky's short for a lot of things.
Jacketh,
Jackariah, Jackoba.
Jackfruit.
So, yeah, it's a very common. So that's why everybody just makes it Jacky. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jacky and his teammate Jackie Oliver drove GT40s, which was considered to be an outdated and underperforming car compared to the primary competitors, which earned them the nickname the Old Lady for their GT40.
Huh.
It would be the Porsche team of Hans Hermann and Gerard Larousse in their 908s that would give the two Jackies and their Fords a run for their money. Going into the final hour, Ickx and Hermann were less than 10 seconds apart on the same lap, and both cars were feeling the strain of having been driven hard for over 23 hours straight. The Porsche was down on power, and the Ford had problems with the exhaust. They took turns overtaking each other lap after lap until the end was in sight. Ickx crossed the finish line ahead of Hermann in what he thought was the last lap, but he had misjudged the timing. With a minute left on the clock, the two had to complete another lap, and Ickx had to think fast. Ickx. It's actually Ickx. We've been saying it wrong the whole time.
Yikes.
Sorry for
his name's Yikes.
Ickx.
Is it Ickx?
Yeah.
Ickx.
Ickx.
Ickx. All right.
Ickx.
Ickx. Just keep saying Ickx.
Yeah.
Gives me a case of those.
I'll take a case of those.
All right. All right, pretty lady.
So Jacky had to think fast. His Ford GT40 had only ever done 23 laps with the amount of fuel it could hold. Now on the 24th lap, he had to drive harder than ever, and he had to be mindful about fuel consumption. Jacky led into the Mulsanne straight, but let off the throttle to let Hermann pass. In Hermann's mind, the GT40 was sputtering from lack of fuel, and victory was a given. In reality, Jacky was drafting behind the 908 to save fuel, waiting until the right moment to strike.
Smart.
As the Mulsanne corner grew on the horizon, he saw his opportunity. He slingshotted around Hermann into the Mulsanne corner, then went full throttle with what drops and fumes of gas he had left. Jacky crossed the finish line an incredible 390 feet ahead of the Porsche, the narrowest competitive margin of any Le Mans finish in history.
Wow.
Just for context, the GT40s that won in 1966, I want to say, they did a photo finish where they intentionally slowed down to get both the cars in frame.
Yeah, remember Ken Miles got screwed out of that first place.
Because there's like a whole story. It's really interesting. Jacky stood on the podium and dedicated his win to fellow racer Lucien Bianchi, who was killed a year before and had contributed to the GT40's win the previous 24 hours of Le Mans. Thanks to Jacky, this was the last Le Mans that featured the running start.
Wow. Yeah, they're like, I guess we look like assholes, huh?
Yeah.
We'll be right back after these messages. This podcast is sponsored by Hims. Guys, life is stressful, and you have plenty to worry about without adding performance in the bedroom to your list. Hims provides access to treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving you that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your own couch. Hims provides access to a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments like chewable hard mints and Viagra and Cialis, and their generics for up to 95% cheaper. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for uncomfortable doctor's visits. You don't have to wait in a room with a bunch of other guys. You have to wait on your couch for your package to be delivered, which is way better. With hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, Hims can help you find the ED option that works for you. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/gas. That's HIMS.com/gas for your personalized ED treatment options. HIMS.com/gas. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. Thanks to BRUNT for sponsoring this podcast. Guys, I just got my BRUNT Marin work boots delivered to my house, and honestly, they're super comfortable. The leather's amazing quality. I really love these boots. Honestly, they might be the most comfortable work boots on the planet. They just feel so sturdy, too. One of the best things about these BRUNT boots is that they're super comfortable right out of the box. You don't have to break them in or anything. A lot of work boots, you have to break them in and you get sores for a little bit, and then finally they're comfortable. Not these. These are broken in from the box. But BRUNT isn't just about work boots. They offer a full range of high-performance gear built for tough jobs. From heavy-duty work pants to weather-resistant jackets, BRUNT designs durable, reliable workwear to keep you protected and productive in any condition. BRUNT didn't just make a durable work boot. They reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. For a limited time, our listeners get $10 off at BRUNT by using code GAS at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com/gas and use code GAS and you're all set. After your purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you there. Thanks, BRUNT. Now back to the show.
The 1970 Formula One season saw Jacky return to Ferrari. In his first race of the season, he suffered a devastating crash at the Spanish Grand Prix at the Jarama circuit. In the opening lap, he misjudged the distance to a turn, braked too late, and collided with his Le Mans teammate Jackie Oliver. The cars skidded towards the barriers and exploded, leaving a fireball in their wake. Jacky, soaked in gas from the ruptured fuel tank, caught fire. He escaped the burning wreckage and collapsed on the ground, where stewards were able to put out the flames, but not before sustaining burns. The cars took much longer to extinguish thanks to their magnesium alloy bodies, which burn bright and hot. And this accident would go down as one of the most horrific incidents in the sport, and one that still haunts Ickx to this day. You might think that this traumatic crash would make Ickx second-guess racing. However, he pressed on and didn't miss a single race for the rest of the season. After recovering for 17 short days, he was back behind the wheel. He went on to become a close contender for the F1 title, battling Jochen Rindt in his new Lotus 72. The two would go at it during the German Grand Prix, where Rindt proved victorious. Then again at the Austrian Grand Prix, where Jacky took home the dub.
I gotta say, I rarely do my driving sim anymore just because baby stuff. But
Baby stuff, yeah.
I thought because you got in a big sim crash and you just can't get your mind in the zone.
yeah, my gaming computer started on fire and it took 4 days to put out.
Yeah.
But I do, whenever I have a chance, I hop in that Lotus 72. That's my car of choice when I do the sim.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just super fun, super light and zippy, and
Yeah.
go to like Coda and do a couple laps and then go tend to the baby again.
Those vintage cars are fun on the Assetto Corsa
Yeah.
time. Unfortunately, tragedy struck once more at the 1970 Italian Grand Prix. Jochen Rindt was involved in an accident during qualifying that took his life. Jacky spent the rest of the season earning points towards a championship, but ultimately placed second behind Rindt's posthumous F1 championship victory. Jacky has said he was relieved he got second because he would not want to win against a deceased Rindt. This second place victory was also the closest Jacky would come to the F1 crown. He placed fourth in the next 2 seasons and ultimately left Ferrari for good in 1973. In his mind, Ferrari's cars were going downhill and were not fit to compete. Unbeknownst to him, they would take home 6 manufacturers' titles in F1 for the next 10 years. He continued on as an occasional F1 driver through the 70s, but it was endurance racing where he truly shined and continued to define his career.
What a bummer.
Yeah.
That's like selling your Bitcoin at $12,000 and be like, it's never going to be higher than this.
It's just like that, Joe. You're right.
Yeah. Did I tell you that I bought Willow Springs?
Oh, that was you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, after a few disappointing F1 seasons, Jacky felt the need to bounce back after 1970. And it was here he entered his prime Le Mans years. Driving a Gulf Cosworth DFV-powered Mirage GR8 Ford alongside Derek Bell in the 1975 running of Le Mans, Jacky claimed his second victory in the harrowing endurance race, beating out second place by a single lap. This was the start of a 3-year winning streak at Le Mans, albeit with a different team. Starting in 1976 and continuing until his retirement, Jacky was a factory driver for Porsche. In his year with the team, Jacky took home the grand prize with co-driver Gijs van Lennep, who announced his retirement immediately after the race. Their Porsche 936 was the first forced induction car to win at Le Mans since Bugatti won in 1939 with a 3.3-liter supercharged straight 8.
That's my favorite engine of all time.
Jacky raced in the 1977 running of Le Mans with Martini Racing in a new twin-turbo Porsche 936. Porsche and the twin-turbo V6 Renaults were the favorites going into the race, but unfortunately, Jacky's 936 faced devastating problems during his co-driver Henri Pescolaro's stint early on. That's a great name.
Pescarola.
Yeah.
Pescarolo. My bad. Ickx was transferred to their sister team's car, which was stuck in a disappointing 41st place, 15 laps behind the race leader. With nothing to lose, Jacky was told he could drive as hard and as fast as he could, so he did just that. Throughout the night, Jacky drove at a feverish pace. As he was making up laps on his competition, the Renault started dropping out. First, it was Patrick Tambay, who was in 4th place when his engine died 12 hours into the race. Then, 5 hours later at 9 a.m., the Renault, driven by Jean-Pierre Jabouille and Derek Bell, suffered a burned-out piston and had to retire. Before long, Jacky was in the lead. After a grueling 11 hours behind the wheel and 40 places gained, he pitted to let his partners take over. Good God.
It's insane, right?
That's the craziest thing I think I've ever read on this show. Maybe not ever, but that's insanely impressive. Wow. After another Renault retired, the Porsche was a comfortable 19 laps ahead of the second place Mirage M8. With only 45 minutes left in the race, co-driver Jürgen Barth pitted after one of the cylinders stopped firing.
I feel like British people would say Mirage weird, like Mirage.
Mirage.
I
don't know. The engineers had enough time to fix the engine and let it cool off before sending Barth on his way again. 936 rolled across the finish line 11 laps ahead of second place, which was the largest winning gap of the decade. Had it not been for Jacky's marathon in the dead of the night, who knows where the team would have placed. That's 41st. So crazy.
41st to first within 11 hours.
That's so crazy.
And also just the the dichotomy of having won the other races by less than a lap and less than, 400 feet to being the biggest, lap deficit of the decade.
That's range, baby. Overall, Jacky would claim 6 total Le Mans victories, 3 of them with Derek Bell by his side, earning himself the nickname Monsieur Le Mans. His last Le Mans victory came in 1982 with a Porsche 956. It would take until 2005 before his overall Le Mans win record would be broken by Tom Christensen to overtake Jacky in total wins.
Jacky's driving career slowly faded after his last Le Mans win, with one outlier, the 1983 Paris-Dakar Rally.
Oh, here we go.
This notorious off-road endurance race crossed the Tenerife Desert in the South Sahara. Jacky and Claude Brasseur would claim victory in the rally with the Mercedes 280G.
Whoa.
Outside of racing, this event also was very important to Jacky, as he developed a love for Africa that would endure well beyond his racing years.
Dude, this G is sick. This 280G.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
That's when it still looked very army.
It's very army. It looked like a tractor, dude.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Jacky officially retired from driving in 1985, but he wasn't finished with Le Mans. Listeners of Past Gas will surely remember Jacky's involvement with Mazdaspeed from episode 229 and our 4-parter on Mazda. But in case you missed it, here's a refresher. Mazda was dead set on conquering Le Mans throughout the 1980s and into the early 90s. While the team had potential and a few strong showings, they were missing a key ingredient to success: veteran experience. And for this, they turned to Jacky. Mazda was in panic mode in 1990 as the FIA had just announced that the rotary engine they had spent the better part of the decade building a car around would be banned the following season. If anyone could push the team over the top in fewer than 6 months in this do-or-die moment, it was Jacky. Ickx was hired as team manager, and despite a strong showing by the team during the first half of the race, cooling issues began plaguing the Mazdas. By the end, only one of the 3 cars remained, finishing a dismal 20th. The team was given a lifeline after the race. The FIA announced it would delay its rotary ban an additional year. This time, the team had a year to perfect the car, and Jacky had a year to develop strategy and prepare the drivers. At an anxious team meeting a few hours before the 1991 Le Mans, Jacky gave a speech to the team. Knowing this was the rotary's last chance and leaning on his own experience of trusting his cars to do the impossible and pushing them to their absolute limit, he told the drivers, "Let's go balls out. Doesn't matter if we crash or the car doesn't last."
That's sick. Put that on a shirt.
Yeah. Team designer Nigel Stroud later said of the moment, "Once the drivers heard from Ickx, it sealed it. To them, he was God." With the help of Jacky's leadership, the Mazdaspeed took the win, becoming the first ever Japanese manufacturer and non-piston engine powered car to win the race.
That's cool, man.
That's super cool.
What could have been a quiet life of weeds and raised bed plots turned into a historic run of titles and records. In his final career stats, Jacky walked away with winning 8 Grand Prix, 6 Le Mans, and numerous other wins at tracks like Daytona, Sebring, and Watkins Glen. He still holds the record for second most Le Mans wins. He recorded a total of 565 auto and motorcycle races in his career. Outside of the racing world, he is known for being humble and compassionate. He gives lots of credit to his team and fellow drivers for being able to accomplish what he did. Today, the 80-year-old legend resides in Monaco with his family and remains involved in racing as a mentor to his daughter, Vanina. Jacky Ickx has forever left a huge mark in motorsport. He proved that you could use bad weather to your advantage, that you could conquer multiple disciplines and grueling endurance races, and that you don't have to sacrifice common sense and safety to be a champion.
Oh, yeah. I have so much respect for this dude.
That was a great story.
We got some listener mail. This is from Marine. "Hey guys, longtime listener from Belgium here. I'm really enjoying the show and look forward to new episodes each week.
All right.
Belgium mostly only gets mentioned when it's about Spa-Francorchamps, but last week Volvo Ghent got mentioned. That factory is still going. In fact, my oldest daughter recently applied for a summer job there.
Nice.
She's into cars as well, and her girlfriend drives a first-generation Miata.
Hell yeah, dude.
Makes me kind of jealous, of course, but because I also have a small 2-seater classic, a Fiat X19, but it doesn't drive yet. At the moment, it's hanging on a self-made rotisserie to do some repairs.
Very cool.
And in the future, I would like to convert it to electric. That's actually a pretty good electric swap.
That's very cool. I love these things.
It looks like a Porsche 914, right?
Yeah, a pointy 914.
Yeah.
I think you're right, Joe.
I was looking at them for some reason. I was like, I think I want to buy a Fiat X19 like 4 years ago. It's a very small wedgie car with a lot of clever details and some shared parts with the Countach.
Get out of here.
Since it was also designed by the fantastic Marcello Gandini, who gets mentioned on the show sometimes.
We love Marcello Gandini.
Yeah. Has there been a full episode about him? Question mark. He definitely designed enough great looking cars to fill an entire episode. My favorite by far is the Alfa Romeo Carabo, which still looks super futuristic today. Keep your juicy slug slimed up. Or something Joe said. Greetings, Marine.
Carabo.
Thank you, Marine.
Dude, the Carabo looks sick. Yeah. So we are always keeping that juicy slug slimed up. Thank you for your email, Marine. We are going, we read listener mail all the time. So if you have a message for us, hit us up at passgas@donutmedia.com and we might read your email on the air. In the meantime, though, follow the boys at Bitsbardo, at Joe G. Weber. And you can follow me if you'd like at Nolan Jacky Ickx. Make sure to follow Donut Podcasts on Instagram. You get some behind the scenes, not really behind the scenes. You get more clips from the shows, Big 3 and Past Gas over there on Instagram. And also some fun quiz stuff on our stories.
Yeah, Audrey does amazing quizzes.
Together. It's really fun. I do it every time, and usually I'm right.
I know. I read the scripts, and I still
miss them. Yeah, I've been the same.
I've definitely made some. Yeah, it's fun. A lot of fun. So make sure you follow the show there. Big thank you to our crew, John Medina and Audrey Holden over there behind the mixing board.
And our writer this week, Beth Alexandrov. She is on my baseball team.
Oh.
So,
yeah, dude.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.